So I really want to invite you in this assignment to deal with whatever your feelings are about the genocide that is the Holocaust and those precursors that we're seeing in our country right now. Like, as civic humans, as participants in this democracy, to work through how you feel about something like that having happened, and in our history we had a role in it, and then how you feel about having it not happen. Because there is a saying, if you aren't against it, you're for it. So if you see somebody being bullied in the hall and you walk by, you might as well be bullying that child, right? Because you're not doing anything about it. And this one, obviously, I started with the message first. I knew what I wanted to say. I saw this book about Vietnam. Again, it was still stimulated by the object because I saw the Vietnam book, but I knew the message I wanted to make. And this was a period when I was making these altered books and sticks together. I don't know, don't ask me where that came from, I'm too old to remember, but I had these books and I was putting sticks in them. So like I have some that are like this tall that were about how we're destroying the woods and the trees and nature to have to make housing complexes and cement, like Cat Stevens back in the day. All right, so you can start with your own exploration of these issues, and I would encourage you to do that no matter what you start with. You could start with a message that you would like to portray to someone. Did you give them an assignment to do one or the other? Are they supposed to be having a message?
Yeah, the artwork itself is supposed to give the message of remember the Holocaust and not.
But they don't have to necessarily start with that. You're not asking them first in the assignment to have a message they want to give.
No.
So okay, so I just want to make sure I was on the right track because I forgot to check that with you. Okay, so the other and this is sculpture, right? And
no, this is drawing.
Oh, it is drawing.
It's
okay,
drawing.
It's drawing. So there's still a media choice here, a medium choice, medium.
They get
plural.
to pick whatever they want to use.
Right. So just do. And how many of you already know what you're going to use? Why do you think? What? And tell me why.
I just feel like there's a lot of different mediums convey different messages, like a rougher material, convey different emotions. So I'm just kind of trying to pick a medium that would help convey what the Holocaust was.
The rougher, the complexity of it. So a really fine line, brightly colored, smooth marker would not do the trick.
Yeah.
Exactly. You can't have the variance in that. It's always one value. It's not like a colored pencil or chalk or
I was thinking of doing either, or maybe both, kind of a mixture of some lighter charcoal and soft pastel. So I can give it vibrancy and color and blended detail. Yet also with some of the charcoal in there too, it does mute out some of the color too, and it gives it more of a darker feel.
So the experience of the viewer, which is interesting that you guys answered this the way you did, and then you're doing the same thing, to have the viewer be engaged in that, suppressive, oppressive kind of feel that you get with it. So the chalk will kind of color out the vibrancy of life, right? Yeah. Like you're thinking. Are you thinking?
Are you going to use rubbing stencil with it?
I might.
Oh, for the letters.
You can use it with anything. I was just showing them how to do rubbing stencil. That deer thing up there was my example to them. Sitting on the front table.
I'm doing yoga now, turn all the way around.
Front table.
I have.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I have a few ideas of what I kind of want to do. I was thinking of maybe also doing the smokestacks, like the smoke coming out, and within the smoke it would be kind of using the stencils to create, with that smoke, the silhouettes of people. But like I said, I don't know exactly for certain. I still have time to think about it. But I have two separate ideas for what I kind of want to do.
Do some of you work that way, that you start in one, you're going to kind of explore, experiment, go that direction, and then, I think I'm going to do something else, and then, Good. Anybody else have an idea of what, is your arm getting tired? Anybody else have an idea of what material they're going to start with? Okay, how many of you have an idea that you want to start with? Any of you have ideas that you've been...
For the Holocaust?
For the sculpture, yeah.
Me, I was kind of thinking of more like, kind of like an animal point of view, because like animals kind of represent things like a lion represents courage, this and this.
Yeah.
But like, if you go into like more darker perspectives of the things, they can, like a picture kind of shows more than, like it shows more meaning and it tells you more things than like you just saying it. So like I was thinking of doing an animal and like just different things inside like the animal, showing like what the people went through the Holocaust and how and all that.
So, I like that, and I think about Charlotte's Web was the first thing I thought about, but there is, write this down because I'll forget. So I need to send you, look, she's a good docent. I'm gonna send you a poem. What's your name?
Alyssa.
Alyssa. I would really like everybody in this room to listen to it, actually, but just because it's so powerful to me. But there's a 5-minute little podcast story from a poet. It's a show on NPR in the morning that's called The Slowdown on Thursday mornings, and they talk about a poem and then they read this poem, right? And this one is about deer, and she talks about, it gives me goosebumps. She talks about exactly what you're talking about, how we can use animals to make a point or something else to make a really difficult point. And it's about the capricious murdering of young black men in this country. And it's a really fabulous poem. It's making me goosebumps and cry just thinking about it. And she powerfully uses the deer metaphor, and you're going along and you're listening to it, and then you're like, whoa. So I really would like you to listen to that because I think it would empower you to get that, edge in there. Good. Who else has an idea? Who has a starting point if you just want to explore it and kind of use the art to think through it and figure it out?
Like a figure of their bodies because they were so stark and you could see almost like the silhouette of their stomach.
So you're really aware of just that, how that must have been to be starving and this, yeah. The smokestacks image, I just remembered this when you said this. What's your name?
Sydney?
Sydney. And what's your name?
James.
James, sorry. I'll never remember, but I do like to know people's names. So, but
okay.
Sydney and James. So when James was talking about the smokestacks, and Sydney, when you just said what that experience was like, there was also something yesterday on NPR about this woman who did survive and how she thought they were nice at first because they said, okay, now you go to the left or the right, you have a choice, we're gonna, or whatever, and they separate, and yeah, and then she started seeing the smokestacks, and she knew she was never going to see them again. And it just really put you in the experience of being this young girl that you're gonna see your family, and then you realize that's never gonna happen again. So somehow to have us really feel that experience of hunger. Alyssa? Aaliyah.
That's Alyssa.
Ah, okay. So, and you had a place to start.
I feel like if we, or as me, if I were in her class and I was doing this project,
You can.
really?
Yes.
I'm
She said
so
her
doing
docents
this
can do it,
project.
yes.
I would look up pictures of the Holocaust and I would kind of draw some of them into like a collage form and add different types of mediums.
Perfect transition to what I was going to talk about next. So yes, that will help you get the imagery if you're really looking for that imagery of what it looks like to be starving or what it looks like to be in the smokestacks. So you can also use imagery as a way to start exploring and getting the message that you want to come up with. Like see which images strike you or which images you think are your. Oh, okay. But you can also do the writing first. So you could also, if you're a poet, how many of you are poet type people that write poetry, or you wouldn't tell anybody, but okay, so whatever. But I did that one time with this, I'm just kidding, they don't want to admit sometimes. So another thing about this breakup is I wrote this just disgusting poem, like I was, just so heartbroken and immature, and my whole life was over because I wasn't going to be with this man, right? And so I just wrote all this really corny stuff, and oh, my life will never be the same, and I'll never be happy again, and I just got all that out, and then I was able to pull from there a very, very, very clear and concise poem that was about this wave of water coming in, and I couldn't open the door. That's how my feelings were. Like, I can't open the door because there's this wave of water against the door, and if I open it, I'm just going to be overwhelmed. It was a really powerful image, but I had to get all that other crap out first. So, do you have, was this helpful? Oh, so the last question I asked you was if that work of art and or the title, or the two together, had you understand the issue more, or think more deeply about the issue, or think about the issue in a different way. So did you guys over there have access to breaking up in a different way after you looked at the artwork or the title? Did it open you up to anything new about the subject? It may not have. Or reinforce something you already knew. You look like you're going to say something.
Me?
Not Alyssa.
I think it like opened me up to like just
How painful it could be.
yeah, and it like connected to my life and not maybe the way that it connected to you, but in a different way.
Perfect. So it connected to her life, not necessarily the way it can, and yay, that's like the best compliment you can give an artist, right? So if it connects to you, like they were saying here, the title can bring you in, but if you experience, ooh, what that's like to have that pain, you belong. It's like you're not the only one. Yeah.
I think for like these kind of artworks, like each one that's different, it can resemble a different reason and a different meaning. Like, so like for this, like for her and how your guys' lives are so different, each, like, they can be all different meanings, but it can all be the same. But like, it can be the same connection. Like, we all still have a connection about the same thing, but just different reasons.
Exactly. So that's your charge in my 30 seconds I have left. So that's your charge, is to create an artwork that allows you to work through your thoughts about this, and at the same time engages the viewer in their own responses, and they may be completely different from yours, or it may be for a different reason, right? Like it may be someone who's a bully and they connect to this and they realize, oh my goodness, I'm like one of the perpetrators of the Holocaust. Or it might be someone who's been bullied and they feel safer now. They feel like, I'm not the only one, someone understands. Yeah, or you're just stretching. Okay, good. Did you get that? Was this helpful to think about how to do this? Is a difficult assignment. Are they studying the Holocaust and social? I love that you're doing this. I taught a whole class about this to teachers, about how to teach the Holocaust. And the number one thing was, start with Jewish history. Start with people as a culture rather than victims of the Holocaust. Because if you can really get that these are human beings who are starving, that these are human beings who are being burned in these chambers, it's a whole different experience than just the poor victims of the Holocaust, the Nazis. I mean the Jews. The horrible Nazis did this to the Jews. No, these were human beings like you and me. Right?
Yes.
They were children separated from their grandparents that they never saw again in a heartbeat.
We watched the People Next Door, which was
Exactly.
the South End.
Yep. So conveying that, also good luck, your high school students. I'm going to be impressed. I can't wait to see what they do. But to convey the humanity that was violated there and lost. Thank you. Namaste. The good in me to the good in you.